It's always good to give thanks, you know. It's always good to give thanks for the good things that we enjoy in life. And mums and dads, guardians this morning, on behalf of the church, I want to say a massive thank you to you for allowing us to have your children with us this week. And you know what? They have been absolutely brilliant. Now, I appreciate that at home sometimes they may not always do what you ask them to do. But here, in general, they have. And I just want to say a massive thank you that we've been able to just be with them and to talk to them about the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm being waved at up there because my microphone's not on. That's on now? Okay. We've been talking about different things about the Lord Jesus, haven't we, boys and girls? And day one, we were looking how we are never too young to be a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. We're never too young. And that's really good news for us this morning, especially if we're a primary school age or younger, that we're never too young to be a follower of the Lord Jesus. And we looked at a young man by the name of Timothy. And in day two, we looked at never too ordinary. Stephen, an ordinary guy who became a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. And then day three, can anyone remember what day three was about? Remember? So? Never too. That's right. You're never too bad to be a follower of the Lord Jesus. We looked at a man by the name of Saul who became Paul. And then, what was day four about? We had an obvious illustration. Paul and I did a sort of an obvious... Caitlin, can you remember? You can never make too many mistakes. And that was a great relief because Paul and I made a big mistake in thinking we were teaching in different age groups. We had a bit of a muddle. It was all part of a plan, boys and girls, of course, to teach the point. We can never make too many mistakes. And that's great news for us adults as well, isn't it? That we can never make too many mistakes to be a follower of the Lord Jesus. Well, this morning, Bethany has read to us a story from Acts chapter 16. And that book is about the beginnings of the Christian church. And in that story, many men and women became followers of Jesus Christ. And one of them was a lady by the name of Lydia. And this morning we're going to think about never too unlikely. You don't normally see a cat and a dog cuddling each other, but never too unlikely to be a follower of Jesus. Now maybe this morning some of you might think, I could never be a follower of Jesus. Don't think like that. You can. You're never too young. You're never too ordinary. You're never too bad. You're never someone who can make too many mistakes. It's never going to be too unlikely that even you can be a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. And we're just going to have a little bit of a quiz within the talk this morning. And we've had a character who's been helping us with the quiz, boys and girls. Can any of you remember what his name has been? Yes, Aaron? Ian from Ian's Igloo, who's been talking to us. Now, I don't think it's Ian this morning. Are you in the building, my quiz master and helper?
Yeah, super cool Nige is here, Greg.
Oh, super Nige, super cool Nige this morning, boys and girls. Good morning, super cool Nige. It's great to see you this morning. Will you help me with a quiz this morning, super cool Nige?
Yeah, word up, Greg. Of course I will, man.
Yep, good. Okay then, question one. It's easy, boys and girls, mums and dads. The answer is true or false. You don't have to stand, you don't have to sit, you don't even have to shout out. Just be honest with yourself, true or false. Let's have a look at question one then, super cool Nigel. You could read it for us.
Yeah, no worries, Greg. Okay, kids, listen to this then. If all the ice in the Arctic melted, the global sea level would rise about 7 metres. If all the ice in the Antarctic melted, it would rise about 61 metres. Whoa. True or false?
True or false? So who thinks true? Hands up. Who thinks false? Ooh, some of you have voted twice. That's okay. Let's see what the answer is. Oh, that's true. That's a bit of a problem for us, boys and girls, if the Antarctic was to melt, because Hadleigh is only 22 metres above sea level, so we'd be in big trouble. Question two then, super cool Nige.
Yeah, no worries. I'm loving this, Greg. Okay, here we go. Grey whales migrate 12,500 miles from the Arctic to Brazil and back every year. True or false?
True or false? Who thinks true? Not so many. Who thinks false? Who's not answering at all? Okay, let's see what the answer is, Super Cool Nige. Oh, it's actually false. The miles were right, but it's Mexico and not Brazil. Let's go on to question 3 of 4. Only 2 more questions to go, boys and girls. Super Cool Nige.
Okay, here we go. Number 3 then. The lowest recorded temperature in the Arctic is in Siberia, -40. And in Antarctica, -62.2. True or false?
True or false? Whoa, it's cold, whatever it is. Who thinks that's true? Yeah, several. Who thinks that's false? Let's see what the answer is. Oh, it's false. Wow, -68 and -89.2. That's really cold, isn't it, boys and girls? Question 4 then, Super Cool Nige.
Okay, listen up then. The Arctic Ocean covers 5.4 million square miles, which is more than the area of Europe. True or false?
Oh, who thinks that's true? Who thinks that's false? You can participate in the balcony, by the way. True or who thinks that was true? Who thinks it's false? Okay, let's see what the answer is. It's true. Well done. Thank you, Super Cool Nige. Big round of applause for Super Cool Nige, boys and girls. Excellent.
See ya.
Bye. See you later. Right, well, this morning, boys and girls, that last question leads us into the story because Lydia, who became a follower of the Lord Jesus, never too unlikely that she became a follower of the Lord Jesus. She's introduced to us in a city or a place by the name of Philippi. That city doesn't exist anymore. The ruins are there. There's a little place just nearby it, but that is actually in Europe. So that last question is kind of helpful to lead into the story this morning. Sorry, I think I'm still at Holiday Club. Yeah, and this lady became a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. And from what we know, she was the first lady, or man for that matter, to become a follower of Jesus in the continent on which we live, Europe. So that's a really interesting story, isn't it, for us boys and girls? And we're just going to look at a few things why it was quite unlikely that she became a follower of the Lord Jesus. And I think this might help us as parents as well. The first thing, it was pretty unlikely because she was really, really busy. And probably very, very important. She was a business lady. If she lived today, she would probably be glued to her mobile smartphone. She would be talking and texting and doing business day, noon and night. She was a really, really important lady. And undoubtedly, she was really, really busy. It was also unlikely because she lived in a city that really didn't worship God. They would have had a sign on their city gate saying, "We don't want anyone to come and talk to us about anything, about any other religion." It was a Roman colony, and they would have had a poster or some really big wording on the city gates, and they would have said, "Stop, we don't want to hear about anyone. We certainly don't want to hear about Jesus Christ." Oh, can you remember the city she was in? Remember from the story, any of you? Any ideas? Oh, it's a hard school question. Any ideas, Johnny? Remember? We've mentioned it a couple of times. Jacob? Philippi. Well done. So in the city of Philippi, and it's pretty unlikely that she would become a follower of the Lord Jesus, because in this place, Jesus wasn't particularly welcomed. And that's the same, boys and girls, mums and dads, in some nations of the world even today. And it was certainly so for Lydia, where she lived in her life. It was also unlikely because of something else, where those taking the good news of Jesus met her. They met her by a river. They didn't meet her in a church or a religious place. They met her by a river. It was a place where people came to pray, we're told, and actually to worship God. But Lydia was there this day when they came to talk about the Lord Jesus Christ. So it wasn't a religious place, but it was just in the open air by a river. And that's really good. We can discover and find out Jesus, or find more out about Jesus, in all sorts of places. We can find out about Jesus in junior church here on Sundays, at Link on a Monday evening. We can find out about Jesus through doing Christianity Explored. We can find out about Jesus in all sorts of places. But it was really unlikely because of where it happens. You know, no one this morning, and I really want you to think about this, whatever your age, children, young person, adults, mums and dads this morning, no one is too unlikely to become the friend of God. I want you to know that this morning. None of us are beyond God's love this morning. Not one of you in this building today cannot become, at one point in your life, a friend of God. And that's really good for you to know. You young children, you can become a friend of God. Already some of you are followers of Jesus Christ. You young people, you older friends, no one is too unlikely to become a friend of God. Jesus said this in John 1:12, to all who believed him and accepted him, he gave the right to become the children of God, or the authority. That's wonderful. So there's an invitation for us this morning. None of us are too young, too ordinary, too bad. None of us make too many mistakes. It's not too unlikely that any of us could become a follower of the Lord Jesus. All of us this morning can personally become a follower of God through the Lord Jesus Christ. And this is what happened to this lady Lydia. In Acts 16, verses 14 and 15, we read, the Lord opened her heart to respond to Paul's message. When she and the members of her household were baptized, she invited us to her home. So she became a follower of the Lord Jesus. It was unlikely because of where she lived, where she was by a riverside. But actually that came in really handy because probably they went and baptized Lydia in that very river that she was sitting beside when Paul and the others came to talk to her. But not only Lydia followed Jesus, but it seems all of her household, and because she was a business person and a really important business person, probably her household might have been 20, 30, even 40 people, a big household. She probably lived in a really big house. So lots of people became followers of Jesus, and they probably, we're not told, but almost certainly would have gone into the river and were baptized. That's a picture of a baptism of a family actually in India, which I took in January of this year, of people becoming followers of Jesus and showing they love the Lord Jesus by being baptized in that way. So Lydia was the first person in Europe that we know of to become a follower of Jesus. Some in this room this morning are the only person in their families who are followers of Jesus, and that's great. And I'm sure their longing is others in their family will become followers of Jesus too. But I wonder this morning, do you belong to a family that as yet has no one who is a follower of Jesus? Well, why don't you become that first person, like Lydia? Why don't you become that groundbreaker in becoming a follower of Jesus? So come along and learn more, whether it's here Sunday by Sunday or to another church that you might live more closer to. And if you want to be part of that course in September, then you come and speak with Chris or myself, and we can make sure we can fit you in. Just come with your questions. That's all you need to do. Just come with your questions, and we'll seek to answer them as we explore who Jesus Christ is. Well, thanks very much for listening, all of you, this morning. We're going to sing one closing song. After that, I'll just ask that you remain standing for a brief prayer. As we sing this song this morning, we're going to take up a collection. If you have not come prepared to give, please do not be embarrassed in not giving. Just pass the bag on. But we will take up a collection here this morning. It's very much for the regular members of our own congregation, Sunday by Sunday. So we'll sing this together. It's a song written by someone who came to know and follow the Lord Jesus, and in using terms of being lost but then being found, terms that are often used in the Christian faith. So we'll stand together and sing When I Was Lost. Thanks, music team.